I'm reacting to Woke Students Can't Explain White Privilege by Sav Says. And it seems like she's actually affiliated with Turning Point, so she might be a little bit more right-leaning. But let's see how she's able to conduct these interviews in a way where it's respectful. Is she able to bring out the other side's perspective and have like a nuanced conversation? Yeah, what do you guys think? Does white privilege exist? What is white privilege? Let's see what the students say.
Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania has recently postponed an event that centered around being tired of cis white men. So I'm at UT campus to ask students.
That is kind of wild though, if you think about it. Like, what if like it was, I'm tired of Asian men and we're gonna hold an event about that? There would be an uproar. There'll be an uproar.
What they think about the event, let's go find out.
Saying like we're tired of straight white men in society is really as like explicit as it sounds. I think it's just contributing to a general idea that like we're tired of straight white men having the power and everything, you know? And it's like,
yeah, again, like replace what everyone is saying with just like another person of color and men. Would that be okay?
we as women of color, as like students at this university, like we're very much capable of certain things, and we don't have the same privileges that are offered to straight white men.
And I've been hearing that from a lot of the ladies that I've been talking to today. Talk to me about what some of those privileges are that, you know, straight white men have that you don't have. Talk to me about
Look at her face, look at her face. But no, she's a great interviewer. You can tell that she's doing this in a very, very respectful way. Obviously, you know, she probably does lean a little bit more right, and she can probably at least anticipate what the person that she's asking is about to answer. But she's doing like a great job of remaining very respectful where the person that she's being interviewed feels like they can open up.
that.
I think I don't really know. Have you ever experienced like a specific instance?
I don't know, but I also need to go.
I know, I do
really
need to go.
She's like, ah, fuck. I can't answer this shit.
I'm sorry.
As especially people of color, we know.
Yo, wait, hold on. That's wild. If you're going to make like a very bold claim like that, you got to at least be able to back it up. I am totally fine with anyone having any sort of opinions. That's really the whole ethos of my channel. But I got to say, like, if you are going to have strong opinions, I think you also got to have just as strong evidence to back up whatever you're believing, right? Or else, you know, does that really mean that you're really truly convinced with like the points that you're making? You got to bring the weight behind the punch. And I think that's the best way to think about it.
The privileges or the advantages certain races have.
Talk to me about some of those privileges that white people have that you guys don't have.
I would just be like, okay, I guess I'll start with I am a black queer person. If I were to just walk.
Have you guys ever noticed that like whenever it comes to like preferencing anything now, it's sometimes like a clarification behind a point becomes like the amount of victim points that you can get. I think it makes sense in this topic about race why she would say like I'm a black woman, but why does she have to bring up the fact that she's queer? You know what I'm saying? Like if that's like relevant to the conversation, I think it makes sense. But sometimes, like I said, I feel like they want to put those qualifications to legitimize their argument that they're about to make.
Amongst the streets, I'm also like women like I look very feminine if I were to walk across the streets in the dark as a black queer female presenting person. I would not feel safe because I feel like I would be pretty targeted. But if I were a white cis man, I don't think I'd be like the type of person someone would come up to and hate.
I guess it depends on the situation, right? I mean, I think definitely if you're a woman, you're probably going to be more wary of your surroundings based on your safety because most men can probably overpower most women. So in that sense, I could definitely get that. But I think it also depends on the context too, right? What if, let's say, that cis white straight man was walking through a neighborhood dark at night in a neighborhood where they don't like white people? Right? Then in that instance, he would definitely be scared of his safety. So I think that aspect of like, look, men can walk around, certain color can walk around and be totally safe is I think a bit of a myth, right? Because it all depends on the context and the situation that you're in. Obviously, there's videos of people of color beating up on white people, and then obviously the reverse too. So it all depends on the context and situation.
Crime, because that's just not what happens.
I'm certainly cognizant of my own privilege because of my own race. This is the color of my skin.
What privileges are those?
Lots of things. I mean, like, I think there are certain assumptions that come with certain people. Like when they look at a black person or an Indian person, they automatically have this profile in their head, you know, racial profiling, and that still exists. I mean, we're not going to escape that until human depravity itself goes away.
Talk to me about some of the privileges that white men are awarded that you guys are not awarded.
definitely, like, I guess just getting away with situations. Like, if I were to, like, I don't know, like, I guess,
I feel the same way for I don't have anything to say for commentary. I'm like her now.
here you go. I have to think about it. I can't.
It's situations like if
I mean, I think this is like a perfect instance of like you're told something over and over again, and I think most of these people are like learning these things. I'm guessing through school or the content that they consume, where certain things like that kind of just become like an accepted truth, where you never really have to explain your thought process, especially like in the insulated group that you're in, that's echoing the same thing. When you ask like a simple question over like a very bold claim, if you're gonna make that, you know, white people have significantly more rights, you're gonna have to at least be able to do your due diligence and name them. Of course, right? Depending on your skin, you're definitely going to get different treatments in different situations. But I think in terms of law, we have certain acts that have outlaw discrimination. That doesn't mean that that doesn't still happen. But if we're going to talk in the context of law, there isn't like a specific law that only white people can do or that only black people can do, right? Because obviously, if that's the case and special privileges are being afforded, yes, that's definitely racism and discrimination under the law. But I guess that's not at the point that we're at in America right now. But yes, of course, different realities can depend on the situations and the perpetrators.
had a problem with like a male teacher and they were a white cis male, there was less of a chance for something to happen to them because of it. Like,
So like the thing can also be argued too now with like this like heightened racial tensions where no one wants to get canceled. What if like that teacher also affords certain privileges or leeways to people of color so he doesn't seem like a racist? Those situations can now pop up too. And yeah, maybe some people might take that as like, look, it's just equalizing for all the privileges that white people used to receive. But look, is revenge always the best route to equality? Isn't that just the same thing but in the reverse?
I could literally report them for anything, but because of that, if they were like upstanding in the community, sucks to me, basically.
So you mentioned straight white men having more privileges. Can you talk to me about what some of those privileges are?
Yeah, so generally, there's not really ever a sense of like discrepancy whenever someone is trying to, let's say for instance, they're
Bro is so damn nervous, man. Like, look at him. He's like tiptoeing over every little word that he can say so he won't get canceled.
people are minorities in general.
What would you say to people who say like the black community commits the majority of the crime, that's why they're more likely to be arrested? What would you say to that point?
Crime is sort of the way that a lot of people see an escape from this poverty. You know, stealing is a crime, but say you're a hungry man and you go into a grocery store and you steal some food for you or your family. Is that really a crime, or
Yeah, yes it is. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy to a point where some states have taken the kind of like stance that even punishing crime is viewed as this like racist thing. But no, crime is crime. That's the whole reason that the legal system exists, is that we want to provide fairness in the application of law. But if we're providing certain privileges just because they're poor or black or they're brown, that's not withholding that social contract. So I think like I've seen some like footage recently where Targets in San Francisco are completely locked up, where if you want to get like a merchandise, I think you probably have to ask like a store associate to be able to open it up so you can get your bottle of lotion. I've also heard things like Whole Foods was open in downtown Portland for a year and they had to shut down. REI, which is like this big outdoor clothing brand that's been open for like 40 years in downtown Portland, has just shut down this year because they've had record number of thefts. So obviously a lot of these cities where crime happens, it means that crime is very lenient, right? There's lack of punishment. San Francisco, Portland, Los Angeles, and what's happening is that businesses are having to adjust, whether that be locking it up or just completely taking their business elsewhere. And again, right, that's going to impact people, not only the poor people, right? That's also going to impact the people that are working at those stores. You know, that means lost jobs, right? That means money out of the economy, especially in that local area. Yeah, you got to consider that and the kind of the repercussions you have on being soft on crime, and that it's justified because they're poor or they're trying to feed their family. Like if that's the case, then why do criminal justice systems even exist?
Are you just trying to survive at that point, you know?
Well, y'all, it was nice to see the race.
All right, well, yeah, let me know what you all think. I think she's a phenomenal interviewer. How she conducts her interviews is very professional, and I'd say for the most part, pretty neutral, right? Obviously, she might be affiliated with Turning Point, which might lean a little bit more right, but I don't think she was trying to get any gotchas. I mean, maybe probably the editing, but that's probably more of the editing team. Yeah, great interviewer, and let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think white privilege exists in America or in different countries around the world? And if you want to see more, like, comment, and subscribe, and main channel's in the description. Thank you.